Let's talk. Nice.
Totally normal. Everything's totally normal. One part that's normal for me is that I do work in my studio a lot, and my studio is in my house. And so that part's normal. The not normal part is that there's no going somewhere after work or going to a restaurant, and my wife has been furloughed. So finding things for both of us to do to keep us happy and healthy. We're cohabitating just fine. It's going great. Turns out, I enjoy my wife's company, so it's not a big deal. The dogs are pumped. Whatever happened here, they're like, wow, pats all the time. Although I think they're going to pretty soon be sick of us taking their relaxing spots. I don't think they really recognize the couch as a place that people sit. Other than that, just plugging away, making the show. I've got a great guest this week, somebody I've gotten to know over the past couple of years. Getting him in person was difficult because of tour schedules, but now getting someone in person is an impossibility. So the phone is where it's at. So this week's guest is from a little band called Wilco. And it's John Stirratt, who is the bass player for Wilco. And he lives and has lived up here in Maine for some time. So I was happy to kind of talk to him about his experience when this all kind of went down and how he's feeling. So it's a pretty earnest conversation. And I was kind of happy to leave it intact and not weave around, how he's feeling. Because I feel like a lot of us are probably feeling some really shitty anxiety and all that kind of stuff, all those bad feelings. Personally, for me, it helps to hear other people's version of that and what they're going through, and it makes me feel a little less isolated. So I was happy to talk to John about his experience, like when this all kind of started and he was on the road, and now how he feels about being able to be here in Maine and enjoy the seclusion that we have comparative to New York City. Having a hard time down there. Normally I'd edit this out. Sponsors. That's it. Gotta pay them bills. We want to thank, it's just me. Give me a break. I want to thank Maine Spirits very much for staying on as a sponsor, not only staying on, but leaning in. We're very grateful to Maine Spirits, and you can stay tuned. After the show, I will show you how to make a delicious cocktail at home, which is where you should be. Washing your hands, maybe presently. Also, undying thanks to Bull Moose. Bull Moose represents so much good in my life, both as a musician and as a consumer of pop culture. So Bull Moose Minute will be in the middle at some point. We also want to thank Sun Tiki, who are also currently furloughed because they're a gathering place. But man, oh man, what a great facility that hosts rehearsals and shows and video shoots and whatever you want to do creatively. That space is that space. suntikistudios.com, or you can find them on Facebook. Otherwise, let's move on to the talking, and I'll give John a call. We're gonna make it like I will have called John right now. It's gonna be so real. It's like an audio play. High budget, super high budget. This is the most high budget podcast of all the podcasts. We spend dozens of dollars on this thing. Enjoy the conversation.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
This is an important message for John Stirratt regarding your car lease payment.
How you doing?
Are you getting mad telemarketer calls from Acton, Maine? Acton, do I have an aunt there or something? I don't know.
Oh, no, not really. Not really. Not really.
You're off the grid.
You just gave me a little tasting of it.
Yes.
So
I'm sorry.
and a really good computer voice there too. So that's.
I get that a lot.
That's fun. That's fun. You're getting bombarded right now?
No, just before this. Actually, I did get a telemarketer call like in the opening throes of our national emergency, and I was just like, how rude.
Yeah,
Take
incredible.
a knee.
Right. It's like, the call center people should be sort of put on the front line. I think for
Yeah.
for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Put them in triage.
Or maybe they could like make calls on behalf of something that would be helpful right now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. Totally. Yeah, do your thing, but just, we'll point you in the right direction. Are you holding up okay through all this?
Yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, I think like all conversations of this nature would start with like the acceptance of an underlying anxiety and, not knowing what's going on and all that kind of stuff. But overall, I would say that we're doing pretty good, staying as busy as we can, staying positive, that kind of thing.
Good. Is Portland? I'm just really keeping up with a few other areas, but is the case rising? Are the cases rising, kind of comparably to the rest of the country, or
here?
Yeah.
I actually listened to or watched a press briefing from the head of the Maine CDC yesterday, which was very reassuring because it was an onslaught of information and then also kind of connectivity and reassurance, which is nice to get from somebody in a leadership position. So I think here in Maine, we're pretty lucky like that. And we're also lucky that we're responding, I think, or by what I can tell, a lot earlier and more aggressively than most other states. In fact, my mother-in-law, who lives in Florida, like they're just starting testing down there. It's like, wow. Like,
yeah,
Tough.
So
I don't think our cases are spiking as quickly as others because we're taking the measures. But again, who knows? Like everyone's moves here are based on, the best guess of people who have the most information. So
right.
Yep.
Yeah. But I did notice a real seriousness very early here compared to, because I was traveling around. I have a really rough situation. My dad is in that facility that had the huge cluster in New Orleans. He's actually locked in there with inoperable cancer, really horrible. And we were down there, me and the family, like a couple of days apart, like the day before the first case got and then I went on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I don't know if I'm carrying or not, but I've been, I tried to self-quarantine on the road as much as I could, which is ridiculous for like 2 or 3 shows.
Mm-hmm.
Came back and it's like 8 deaths there now. It's nuts. And New Orleans is a fucking shit show. So it's the same sort of thing. They had literally 2 days before the case, they had a mandatory meeting, like facility-wide meeting. So you got 485-year-olds in a fucking room. It is a complete fucking disaster. By the time I got there was a sign in the lobby. There's some hand sanitizer, but no, it's insane. Yeah. So I mean, it's basically the same in Florida.
Have you been able to be in touch with your dad?
Yeah, I'm calling him and, we're writing and, and FaceTiming a little bit. But it's horrible. And it's kind of what a lot of people are going to be dealing with, I think, pretty soon, in terms of, not seeing parents again. I hate to say it, for lack of a better word. Way to put it,
it's real.
I mean, travel restrictions. I mean, I'm going to try to get down and see him, at least, if he's on a balcony or something, so.
Right.
But, so he's got, like, they say 2 to 4 months. So hopefully he's still feeling really good and healthy or he's feeling good. So hopefully he can push that and get out of the woods and see him again. But who knows? It's crazy times, man.
Yeah. It took me a minute to kind of convey to my parents. My dad was a little more ready to kind of embrace it than my mom was kind of, I feel like, I don't know if denial's the right word, but not taking it as seriously as I'd hoped she would take it initially. And then after a couple of days of, I guess, whining, I guess that would be her kid whining at her. I kind of got her to recognize the severity of it, and that, frankly, she is exactly in the demographic, like in the red zone. Like when they're talking about that, they're talking about you, Mom, just with some underlying issues and stuff like that, and because of her age and everything. And I also think that maybe it was like a little bit of, not again denial, like not to insinuate ignorance, but just like oh yeah, I'm that age now, because that sneaks up on people. Like I certainly, even at 43, and I'm like, once in a while, like, wait, what? How did I?
Yeah,
how
no,
did I get
totally,
here? Right?
absolutely.
So
Are they here, by the way?
they're down in York, Maine. That's where I grew up.
Good.
Yeah.
They're in Maine. That's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally. And
some space,
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep. And the great part about where they live is they have space, they have well water, they can grow their own food. So ultimately, I think they stand to do pretty well as long as they kind of continue the social distancing and ride it out. Yeah, I guess it's that anxiety of like, we're experiencing this these the self quarantine kind of self isolation, that could become like a mandate, and then we're like there's anxiety all around that, like what's happening, but then also like that's all of it. Right now we're bracing for a wave, and that is still coming. Yeah,
absolutely. Mm-hmm. No, it's true, and how well we withstand it, But well, man, I mean, it's good to. I don't know what kind of whatever topics you're into talking about. I'm definitely game.
I mean,
probably not much about about COVID, but then that's fine with me. So.
Well, as far as I was concerned, we were doing it right now.
Oh, great!
If that's
Perfect.
okay with you.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah, as long as you don't feel like you shared anything that you don't want out there.
No.
Okay.
It's fine. Absolutely.
I mean, this is like this is an entertainment program for sure, but it's also, I think, one of the fundamentals of the show is relatability, and I certainly don't want to be alarmist or cause panic to anybody who would be listening, but I think at the same time I find comfort in hearing, okay, like I'm not alone in this. There's lots of people. Everybody is. It's a great unifier. Aside from those who are just being deniers of the whole thing and extending the problem, I would say most people, even if they're just kind of coming around to it, are feeling that same sense of like, holy shit, like this is different.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely what they always talked about.
Yeah.
The pandemic people, they can't say we weren't warned, but, and there is, it's, I've a lot of what I've thought about is like compare, just what the sort of environment is, more rurally compared to the friends in New York, and cities have that efficiency where people can really kind of create really close, like kind of quick communities.
Mm-hmm.
Although and if you're going to ride something like this out, where do you want to be essentially? Mm-hmm. And I feel a real luxury being here for it in terms of space and
mm-hmm.
Sort of unlimited nature, and just no congestion, which is just such a scary thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's been a little bit hard being down here in Portland. I mean, even though we're not far from nature here,
Yeah.
But with the weather kind of like being on and off, like March weather, right? Some days are nice, some days are cold. It snowed last night, for instance. But feeling kind of isolated by that cold, rainy weather. And then when it is sunny, which happened to be the case over this weekend, we had a couple nice-ish days. And so the thought was, let's go outside. Well, for still for like 60+% of the population, that was still the weekend. And we had friends who wanted to go to Morse Mountain, and go for a hike. And we're like, yeah, that actually sounds nice. Nice, like we can keep our distance and see each other and have like an in-person conversation and get some exercise in. But then my wife heard that friends of hers the previous day on Saturday had tried to go and it was just jammed. And so we kind of opted out of making that drive because it was kind of a long drive to not actually get to go on the walk, you know?
Right.
And so we ended up going to another local place and called Fuller Farms, which is like a field with some trails. It's like a land trust situation. And that place was jammed as well. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm good. But we kept, luckily my wife is from this area. So she was like, ooh, keep going. And then she found or rather remembered a spot that she used to go with her dad when he'd go like turkey and grouse hunting when she was a kid. And so we found a little place to be outside and have some isolation in the woods. It was very, very rewarding.
Yeah, grouse hunting grounds. Sounds idyllic.
Yeah, it really was. It made me feel like a kid because as we walked through the woods, like there were different parts of the trail. Like here's the weird tree part. Now here's the pine tree part. Now here's the dead pine tree part. And then all opened up into a field with a little old graveyard, you know, from like the original family. I don't know, like 1800s, 1700s, somewhere in there. And and it was like pretty magical spot to be, and we get to bring our dogs, and they get to run free, which is nice.
No, amazing, yeah. And like dog parks are even scary right now, you know.
Forget it.
Yeah, Portland's tight, man. You know, Portland is tight. It's an old New England town,
Mm-hmm.
you know, kind of dropped in, you know, and you know, when it snows, you're easily reminded of, you know, not many places to put the snow, and but you know, I guess what we're getting here is friends of Joshua Tree and different places like that are you know, the exodus is happening, especially second home people. It's like, oh, it seems like a good time to go open the cabin up in Islesboro. Let's call our guys and see if we can open the cabin. And like New York plates everywhere. And,
sure.
So you know, I think the main concern with that is basically our local system. We're it's a very, I mean, well, two factors. We're the oldest population in the country in Lincoln County, Maine. It's not Florida. It's Lincoln County, Maine. Oldest population in the country. The hospital, a great hospital, local hospital, but like, you know, what we're finding is, you know, sort of how third world we really are in sort of different ways, but in just in terms of how easily they could be overwhelmed by this situation, and so I think that's of concern right now about
overwhelming the system,
just bringing and you know, I mean, everyone's going to hit the grocery store and say, I don't know, it's just really, you know, it's just more, it's people not sheltering, not staying in one place, and you know, so it's you know, it's a challenge, but
it's frustrating that a lot of the people not adhering to the sheltering are the very people who are the most susceptible to it. That to me is frustrating.
Yeah, you for sure.
And the other frustrating thing is all those dipshits and, you know, down in Florida, like like spring breaking, you know, like what are you doing?
Yeah,
you know,
you're killing grandma.
You're killing grandma. Yeah,
right, yeah.
It's not even like a Darwinism situation where it's like that's going to just directly affect them.
Yeah,
you know,
completely.
No,
well,
like
I mean,
they'll probably be fine. You know,
the anti-vaxxing thing. I mean, it's very, very similar. It's just, you know, the invisible quality of this natural disaster. I mean, you can't ignore a tornado, or you can't, you know, you can't say a hurricane didn't happen. You know, but you know, that's the insidious part of this natural disaster for sure. It's new territory in that world, and you know, and completely preys on misinformation and you know, the new truth in effect. So it's and also, I don't know, it's just it's just I don't know. I think what we're lacking basically right now is a society in a lot of ways. You know, it's just not. I mean, it's all, you know. Libertarianism is cool and everything, you know. But this is what we have government for, to respond to things like this and other things, you know, little things like fires and roads and stuff like that. So, you know. No use getting jingoistic about it at this point.
No. I mean, if it turns out it was all a hoax in the end, then well, eggs on my face. But that is a fine price to pay for what the other potential outcome could be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's some scary stuff going on today for sure. But you know, I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's just like your immediate family, your immediate community, and just sort of, you know, trying to come together and protect each other on some level. That's what's another tough thing, is just the you know, how long is it going to be till we can get together? It's funny to have these sort of walks and hikes that are like 6 feet apart or something. You know, I feel like we're like sort of dotting the landscape or something. You know, but again, we're lucky to have the space here.
I agree. Well, speaking of getting together, you have a show on the books here in Portland that I'm going to be super pissed if that gets canceled. Because that was
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a vested interest in it as well?
Yeah. That would be nice if that happened in August, that tour. You know, I'm not saying, you know,
if it can happen,
whatever,
right.
You know, but yeah, they'll you know, selling pencils or anything, but you know, maybe it's tough. I mean, just to see everyone impacted in the industry, it's really it's just completely new territory.
Yeah,
and I think everyone right now, just in terms of you know, doing what they can to get through it, which means like basically picking up a guitar. And that's why, you know, if you're on Instagram, you're just like, it's like you're getting hit left and right. How concerts here and there.
Oh, yeah.
It's exciting. It's funny. I think there is an aspect of it that's going to last a while, you know? So I think there's this burst of, you know, this sort of burst of creativity. And I think the cool thing is like how we can sort of sustain this in a longer 3-month period or more, you know.
Necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah. Well, it's you know, I guess I am a little bit drawn, like I don't know, I'm a little bit drawn to some of the that sort of that the NPR, they had a series in NPR that were kind of, it's some really really good production value and everything. That's you know, I don't want everyone to, you know, I love seeing people's living rooms, don't get me wrong. And, you know, seeing Madonna's bathroom was very, it was just like
a dream come true.
And the fact that she didn't straighten it up, you know, to me, that's about the most refreshing thing. I think that might be like one of the, like literally the, like just media takeaways from this whole thing is like seeing famous people's living rooms or wherever they're staying, or I don't know, place in Sun Valley. Maybe it's a Sun Valley bathroom, so maybe it's not as nice as the. But
well, like the Tonight Show, like Jimmy Fallon hosted a recent episode just from his house with his wife filming on an iPhone. You know,
that I heard that was funny.
It was good. Yeah. He interviewed Trevor Noah, and it was like, okay, like once you kind of get over the group laugh aspect, you know, there's not that shared laughter, but that can also sometimes kind of cue false laughs. So, you know, there's no sign saying you should laugh right now. It's just down to like Jimmy Fallon being, charming and funny or not charming and funny. David Spade is also doing his show. He has a talk show, which is the show itself is fine, from my my opinion, but I think that he's very funny. So this version of the show for me is better because it's just him sitting at a desk being himself and really really shining, I think. This is also a nice I'm glad that Conan O'Brien has his podcast because that's something I look forward to every week, and he chooses really interesting guests, and I like this format for him. It's my favorite version.
Oh,
of
he's
him.
doing straight up podcast now.
He has been for about a year plus now.
Wow,
it's a great show. But yeah, so there is that, that kind of. I don't tend to go out to a ton of like concerts and shows. Now I do go out, of course, and see shows and stuff like that, but not to what point I used to. So like part of me is like, it's kind of like business as usual in a lot of ways, but the not being able to go out, because I was definitely part of like the release program, right? Like, okay, I've worked for a while, stay at home, keep a nose in the books. Now it's time for me to meet up with friends and go see Lucius or whatever. And not having that available and not knowing when that comes back for me is sucks. And then also like not being able to like book work is pretty wild. Like it's just not an option, and seeing, I mean, I do not want to paint ourselves, like you and I, in a different position than anybody else. Like everyone's having a hard time right now. It's just that our industry got hit first. Like we were the first wave of like, because we were in the business of public gatherings.
Just like 2004.
Oh yeah, right. And that's another thing that is like the lingering tragedy for me is like the music industry just is starting to figure out getting a toehold. Like, okay, we can do this if, people aren't going to buy music like they used to. Like, how do we remonetize it or make it functional so that people can live lives and do this thing? And we were just kind of starting to get underway.
Just figuring it out.
Yeah.
We were so close.
Oops.
We're so close. No, we have to, like, the world is driving us back into being, Renaissance troubadours. Like basically, electric guitars won't even exist in 5 years. It's all going to be
okay.
hurdy-gurdies and acoustic guitars. No, it's really true. After these huge quarters, like all of a sudden the music biz was back, in LA, like the music Universal, record quarters, and then the slow trickle down was potentially going to happen, and but it's really it's really going to be interesting to see it in other countries where there's a little more valuation in the arts and seeing what kind of what's going to happen. But it is certainly the Wild West, I don't, people always talk about music and down times, and granted, we had good years around, the last, in 08, around the 08, 09, live shows and everything. But do you believe that people need music in times like this? I'm like not always convinced that they do. I think there is so much music, that has been recorded already. Do they need more new music? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I mean, I can't. I don't know if I can answer that question. You know what I mean? To respond in earnest, I mean, I'm motivated to say yes because that's what I do.
It better be, right?
And I'm also right. And I'm also motivated to say yes because that's where I seek comfort in music. These days, more creation than just listening to pre-recorded music. But like certainly hopped in the car the other day for a Provisions run and put on a playlist that I've been working on for a few years, just because it's just like chill music and kind of brought me to like a, calm place. I mean, that for me, that's more of a question for a person in the world who does maybe something else for a living but enjoys music. I don't know.
Right. Oh no. I mean, the concert industry, it's too big to go away. I mean, it will. I have no doubt. I'm as weird as things are, I'm super optimistic about the resilience of humans, and humans, they crave it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a gazillion people like laying down money to go stand in sweaty hot fields listening to like not great sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I mean, people fucking love it,
Mm-hmm.
so thank God for that. But yeah, I've just got a lot, there's just a lot of content the first few days of this.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wait, hold on, guys. It's week one. That
Yeah.
was one fucking week. That's all it was. I was like, wait, was that the month? Was that the month?
No,
It was a fucking week. And it was like basically a year and a half. I was just like, that was like tax time 2021. I was like, wait a minute. I haven't spent any money.
This is your Bull Moose Minute for the week starting on March 30th, Monday, March 30th. This week, you can hear the paper right here. That's how you know it's a real thing. Stone Crush, Memphis Modern Soul, 1977 through 1987 on CD, black vinyl, Galaxy Haze Orange and Red vinyl. Light in the Attic, which is a really good label, made this comp of rare soul tracks. Now, this will be available online only for the time being, as the Bull Moose stores are closed to the public while we deal with this horseshit pandemic. Another thing you should know about Bull Moose is that they are selling local music with no commission. So they are sending, if you buy it, they send all of the money to the independent artists that they're selling for, which is a massively awesome thing. Massive. Dude, it's massively awesome that they're doing this, brah. Like the best way that you can support a lot of musicians who are, they're furloughed, but like they're independent contractors. We mostly are independent contractors, and we may not have access to the unemployment. So buy some local music, support the people that you like to go see, and just get them through this tough time. And Bull Moose is helping. You can learn more at bullmoose.com.
I'm also asking a lot of musician friends, what, and this is not, but what did you ever have a fallback plan? Did you ever like what would you do? What do you think you would do? Are you totally in on the arts, 100%?
Well, unlike you, I've been on the brink of success for 25 years. So, like I've had to like have other things, that I've done more acutely over, and I don't mean to imply that like you're made in the shade or anything like that, but like, obviously like, your band is very established and you're able to work there. But I've like, I dipped out, between 95 and I would say like 2007, I toured nonstop, and it never graduated to the bus, it was always the van, and, label deal, fail, label deal, they get shut down, new band, label deal, shit show. And then I retired from, touring, but I played shows and made records. So I kept my axe sharp. But I definitely like worked in other fields. Like I worked in restaurants. I was a bartender for a while. And then my manager, Derek, and he's my friend, like a longtime friend, took me out for a beer, and he's like, "So you're a bartender now?" I was like, okay, I get it. Yes. Okay, fine. So, that was about 5 years ago, and we are in the 5th year of like what was effectively a 5-year plan of getting me back out of restaurant work, which is, it's good work, and it fed me and kept a roof over my head for sure, but it's not like my first best destiny. It's not what I've put my 10,000 hours in.
Right.
Right. So, here we are, and as you know, like I'm a year deep on a new project that had all the promise and has, I don't want to take that away from it, but like we were on a trajectory. It was happening. We were feeling really good. My band partner and I really sunk all of our time, energy, and fiscal resources into this to make it as good as we could because we both felt very good about it. And then through no fault of our own, boom. So do I have an alternate plan like to fall back on? I don't. I haven't really allowed myself to think too far down that alley now because I've been working so hard and have worked so hard acutely over the past 5 years to make this again what I do, to work in entertaining people because that's what I know. So I do have like the ultimate like DEFCON 4 fallback plan. I know what that is, but like, between here and there, I'm not sure. But luckily I grew up in New York, and my dad is a very handy person and taught me a lot of skills. And
oh, that's great.
So like we were kind of like hipster homesteaders before that was like a thing, raised our own beef and pork.
That self-reliant
That's
Mainer
exactly
family, dude. That's I just reread The Lobster Coast, I read maybe, I don't know, right when I was first coming here in the summer, like maybe 15 years ago, and I didn't really have a grasp of the locations, then. But that that book really drove home a lot of really it really really got into really where the origins and the Scots Irish and everything, and where people came from, especially mid-coast, really, Booth Bay, Damariscotta, that really, it was really enlightening. I had a much better grasp on just the geography, rereading it, and man, I love the Mainers, man. It's like, I mean, I'm totally in jest here, but like End of Days, man, get me a couple of those guys in the foxhole, it's going to be,
oh yeah,
it's like, make me a boat, they'll do this. Yeah, so that's awesome, man. It's great. It's they're I love that about this state. I mean, it's really I'm officially the most useless guy in Mid-Coast Maine. I can say that. I mean, everyone I know, it's like, maple syrup, bees, chickens, livestock, goat, flower garden. So, this break will hopefully light a fire under my ass a little bit to get a little bit more self-sustaining. But it's a great thing, man. It's having skills like that, and certainly in renovation and things like that, which is something I've done over the years. Done a lot of sort of rebuilding of properties, and if I had more skills, it really would have made a lot more sense.
All right, do you not? Do you have any like carpentry background or anything like that?
No, I don't actually at all. I mean, I have tools. I mean, I have tools, and I can, I've built, I built walls, and I've done a few things before, but it's been quite a while as well. And I'm kind of more the sort of the thrift sourcer decorator sort of type. I would say it's like I can vibe a place out pretty good, and that's my skill.
Well, I don't think that is a useless skill. I know where your head's going. You're looking at, person X over here who is, gathering the eggs from their chickens, and you're like, where am I in this? And and you know, and I
Oh,
think
they're
everyone is thinking
butchering
that.
pigs, dude. They're
Mm-hmm.
butchering pigs full on. Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
we're in a greenhouse in like February, and it's just kind of like, I'm sort of turning green over there. But no, I'm really, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I do have multiple chainsaws, and although
Can you
since
juggle
I
them?
don't really want to go to a hospital right now, I'm not
Yeah,
sort of
right.
laying off of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this this
I,
back to the lander thing here in Maine is strong, and I did want to say that the how Bell Systems is I really enjoyed the tracks you've released, but a forthcoming record, and it's all this. I mean, I'm sort of just riffing with all this shit, man. To be honest, I mean, music is everything, and I just want to tell you guys that this is it's a serious blip, but just people are gonna, boy, can you just imagine when people are able to convene again? It is gonna be like fucking bacchanalian, man. It's
yeah.
gonna be it's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, that's really
you
nice of you
know
to say. Thank you. And we are trying to stay focused, and we have some new music that we're gonna release here soon. We're just kind of getting that plan together, and we'll still be a new band after this as well. It was just like that feeling of like, oh, it's happening, and then like like the last thing we did on March 7th is like played our first headlining show, sold it out. Like the buzz is real. We're all feeling like good, like wow, that felt great, and the crowd was super nice, and then okay, stay home. Like
Well,
shit.
if you think about that, that's probably everyone's last memory of a show. You know what I mean? And it's gonna like have to hold them over for quite a while. So I think there's going to be a lot of great memories that will carry over, and certainly the recorded music will have to hold people over for a while. But yeah, it's I mean, the creative boom right now is I think if anything, I think when we start to get in a little bit of a it's not going to be a groove. I'm not sure. I don't know what with the quarantine when it gets a little more normalized.
Right,
Maybe
right.
I'm still not really able to do any writing or anything right now. I'm just a little too distracted.
Gotcha.
And
That's true for a lot
if
of
it
my friends,
snows again,
actually.
maybe so. But I'm just a little bit. I'm still not quite to that point. I can pick up a guitar and sing some covers, but
Mm-hmm.
it's wonderful to see people just have the the ability to just close it off and write. And I mean, and I think probably self-preservation for a lot of people, especially our comrades with anxiety problems, and
Yeah, me. you know, that's you're describing me, and I do cope with crisis by leaning into the wave and doing some work. I kind of punch through it. That's how I cope. But I also have a number of friends who are just like, yeah, I can't yet, and like that's totally okay. And
mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be a living room concert. Like everyone will be able to express themselves and contribute to what point they want to or can when they're ready to do so. So there's like you kind of alluded to it earlier. Like it's great there's a bunch of stuff out there, but it's not like there's not a window here where it's a lot of like the music industry can often feel like a race against time. Like you want to be on ground zero or the originator of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not that. Like right now, it's a level playing field, and you can, I think, I don't know. I guess if anyone's listening who is a creative, like if I can extend to you, like who the hell am I? But like, it's totally okay if you're not feeling creative right now, and when
absolutely,
and when you are, you will be, and then that'll be the time.
Yeah. It's going to be, this is definitely new territory. It's going to be a lot of time. There are, these weird sort of, I don't think anyone wants to really, no one's happy about this. I get, people with families, people that work, grinding work hours that all of a sudden have this like 2-week staycation or, whatever, stay at home with the kids sort of situation that, is, I know a lot of people that are sort of, embarrassed to sort of say, but they're thrilled to have the time, I don't know if they're still working or whatever. They're lucky if they have jobs, I guess. But it's, that's what I'm reading. Whenever I read something online, it's like, oh yeah, not everyone is out of a job. Okay.
I know, yeah.
When you're in the music world or anything music related, it's like, no idea what's going to happen. But I'm like, oh, you have a job? Oh, wow.
Like effectively, you and
that's
I,
awesome.
As musicians right now, you and I are furloughed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good way.
But also not recognized in a lot of ways by the Fed and as like an employee per se.
Oh, I'm sure that that Mnuchin deal. There's going to be a sweet allocation for indie rock artists.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to look out for us, man. No doubt.
Laying it on pretty thick over there.
I've got total faith that the slush fund. Did they have to use the word slush fund? I mean, do they not remember Watergate at all? For God's sake,
no,
slush fund is slush fund as a term is gone. You can't use that anymore. It just sounds complete.
You can't say slush fund when you owe $1 trillion.
It was John Dean. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been after Watergate. Slush fund not good. Not good.
In summary, after Watergate, stop. Slush fund, stop. Not good.
It doesn't. It just. Now, did it ever sound good? I mean, a slush fund. I mean, it's like just.
Unless it's a fund to buy slushies. It's appropriate there. Through this, I feel like people like yourself and myself, whereas we are musicians and have been, whether we're broke or not broke, out of work, whatever, throughout all phases of our, much different careers, but like we will still be able to create. And when it's time to put stuff out and, do our jobs, we'll be able to do that. But lately my mind's been going to all of the people that provide the infrastructure to do what we do.
Yeah, it's the extended industry that's really scary.
Yeah.
And I do think that's Music Cares is an incredible. I mean, I think if anyone listening in the industry, Music Cares is a great resource. Check out their website. It's NARIS, Grammy organization. They do incredible work at all times. But they're an amazing resource, I think, for especially. For everyone, really, to be honest, and I guess the one doing the time that we're afforded right now to possibly do the research that can kind of help help musicians right now. Actually, you might have to edit this out, but there are some really good sort of self-employed. I had some great emails being passed around of just available resources for aid and everything. That I'm just spacing on a couple of names right now, but I'm sort of looking at this from a lot of different angles. From a hospitality standpoint,
because
it's like
you own a hotel as well. Like
well, the hotel that I got involved in a hotel, we developed for 4 or 5 years out in North Adams and Massachusetts, and where we do the Solid Sound Festival, and so it's really been interesting to see how you deal with the ins and outs of trying to furlough 45 employees and stand something like that down, and it's it's a little taste of what so many people are dealing with now, beyond restaurants and beyond. I mean, yeah, I'm sure in Portland, everyone is just trying to support restaurants with whatever they can do, with gift cards or with. Are you doing much takeout buying right now in Portland?
Um, no, but we're
I
also.
didn't know if it's even available.
It is. There are some places like that are doing takeout and delivery, like contact-free curbside, and they're actually doing okay. And okay is, compared to a normal business, not okay, but compared to zero, they'll take it, and it's never going to close the gap, but it can certainly bring the sides in a little bit. And to what point those restaurants are able to maintain a skeleton crew, and and also kind of like you and I, like the restaurants get to keep buying from their purveyors and supporting that system that supports them. That's very important. But like any place that doesn't have like a takeout or to go or delivery program is shuttered and without the ability to generate any income. And hopefully they are able to negotiate with their landlords as tenants and try to mitigate their rent as much as possible. And then all the other bills that are coming in, and I do not envy anybody. I don't envy anybody right now, but I really don't envy the those in the hospitality industry who have to kind of like shoulder this responsibility of basically like shutting a restaurant down with the plan to keep it open, and also wanting to care for their employees but not having the ability to do it. Like a restaurant, even a cranking, super busy restaurant, is only functional if it's open and busy. Like even when it's open and busy, the margin is so small.
It is so month to month, man.
Yeah.
It is, I'm just, it's been an amazing run of incredible food and hospitality over the last few years. And it's going to be a little bit of a different landscape, I think, when we get out of this. And I just, I don't know what kind of aid, I'm still sort of sorting through that in terms of what the restaurant world can do, and hospitality in general, and what this stimulus package is going to look like in that way. But man, it's I don't know, a lot of creatives there. It's going to be hard to sort of keep them down, and they just, I just friends that started small restaurants in Chicago, and all of a sudden they've got 500 employees. They've got 5 restaurants, 7 restaurants. It's in a way they're too big, and there's a whole too small to fail. But these companies are big, and it's a lot of employees, and it's a network. I mean, these are just like, music and food is kind of our lives in many ways. Sounds like yours, So
yeah. You could make the argument like as you were playing devil's advocate earlier, like, is music essential, and like, are restaurants essential? Well, I mean, maybe not. Like, you can cook food at home, and you can certainly, your heart will beat without music and new music and a new concert. But I don't think anyone ever read The Grapes of Wrath and thought like, oh, that seems fun.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I watched,
living.
Yeah, I am watching a lot of Depression era movies. Like, I wasn't gravitating towards them that I was, and it's just like, whoa, yeah, it's not well, actually it was sort of like Grapes of Wrath and eating in America in 1991. To be honest, it was not much different. It was Grapes of Wrath plus McDonald's. So certainly we were in this exalted place for quite a while, and it's gonna be some recalibration. But I think once people get a taste of it, and it's like you can't go back. In many ways, you can't go back. Maybe it's going to be more about growing their own food, and I think it's this more localized thing is just there's no turning back from it once people have a taste of it. And we're just coming out of this massive institutional food phase in America that started really in, more in the 50s, and then and gardens, people just, gardens are for people, those are for the, those are for like lower class, it's like for poor people,
Right.
And people sort of forgot what food tasted like. And
Right.
I don't know.
Then you have a restaurant like that has a garden, and that's like the draw.
Oh, completely.
Right.
And maybe it's going to be more. Maybe it's just not going to be so boutique. I mean, from now on, it's going to be like expected and local, and it just has to, it's sort of. So we can. It will be that, whether it's people growing their own food or hopefully, I'm just saying a prayer for all my restaurant friends as well. Musician friends, and it's just hoping for the best and trying to take care of each other, and that's all we can do.
It's a good time to kind of look around and get your house in order, so to speak, and stay. I use this term a lot, but like stay lean and mean, like be ready and agile, and I think that if we maintain positivity, and if we not hopelessly and like, oh, everything's gonna be fine again. I'm not saying that, but like it won't be the end. They're not end times. I really don't believe these are end times. Will things be different? Certainly, but can you if you stay sharp and you stay adaptable, you will be able to find a way. That's me expounding my belief upon you and anyone listening, but it's truly how I feel. Like, I think it's going to be hard. It'll likely get harder, but then after that, there will be a period of rebuilding, and even some great ingenuity and creativity will
and
come.
Opportunity, opportunity, and that's going to be that's going to be a crucial period. Is that point where we make the right decisions to avoid future potentially way worse events going on, and than this. I mean, this is like, so yeah. We hope for that, but that's a great that sort of lean and mean attitude, hardworking. We have to follow that. I agree.
There are people who have suffered much, much more than any of us have suffered to this point. Like let's just turn back to World War II.
Oh, exactly. I'm sorry. I'm a history buff. I mean, I'm sitting. I'm like doing yard work right now. I'm not storming a beach.
Right. Exactly.
On Tarawa or something. Like, God, no. It's like looking back at especially at this. I told you, me and some friends bought an old camp up here, in mid coast, and the pictures we have have like pictures from 36, and it closed. 41, it closed at the onset of World War II. So the summer of 41 was like the last time that all the campers had their pictures taken. It was just these beautiful photos, and this waning August light, and the world was already at war, and over the of course Pearl Harbor over the winter, coastline shoreline blackouts and everything. But that last summer of seeing these counselors, these like 18-year-old counselors, and so poignant, before this new. Before the new, even the campers. I mean, a lot of the campers were 14 and 15. So by 45, they could have been in it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not, this is, at least what it's another aspect of the insidiousness of this thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
weird. It's not an active, you can't push back against it. The only
Right.
way you can really push back is sitting at home,
Right.
but,
by being passive.
but having that mentality that you mentioned, and having this, what we hope is a community, family minded,
Mm-hmm.
energetic sort of, approach or attitude, is all we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And, but absolutely, I mean, as far as human events, and I mean, I got a, fucking espresso machine, for God's sakes, I'm like,
Yeah, right.
I haven't, I'm not,
Yeah.
we haven't gotten to that point yet where,
If someone who's in, like, say, like, historically speaking, like a prison camp, or in their homes awaiting potentially the next blitzkrieg, if these folks can keep their chins up, you and I certainly can, as I make a cup of loose leaf Earl Grey tea and settle in to watch, Netflix, movies in my home.
Oh no, it's ridiculous.
So,
it is, I mean, I think, I can take much less of it. I can take more than this. That's for sure. If I have to, and we may have to. So
we may have to. Yep.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, don't take the internet away. I would say, let's protect that.
Yeah,
we don't
that's one way it would get super weird for our society, because we're not ready to go. I don't know if the Pony Express is still happening right now, but
yeah, we're not ready to go dark. Yeah, I've just got the carrier pigeons ready.
Oh, good.
And I'm almost there. I'm about a month out, but
training pigeons. What a side hustle.
That's where it's going. That's where things are going.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and talking to people. I know that a lot of people here in Maine feel a connection to you and your music, and a lot of us feel that ownership of you all. You know what I mean? So hopefully it did some folks some good to kind of hear your experience and just kind of like walking through what you're going through and find some relatability there.
Oh, well, I'm very proud to live in Maine right now and love the people, and it's great to talk to you, Spencer, and let me know if there's anything else you want to add on. But I've had a really good I've had such a great experience here with the community of Mid-Coast. It's been fantastic, and I feel lucky that I'm able to be up here during this this historic time, really.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you up here, so stay safe.
Thanks. You too, buddy.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, man.
It's time for Happy Hour, presented by Maine Spirits. Strange times call for strange things, so here's one. The folks at Maine Spirits and I thought that during this period of time where we all need to be at home, or should be at home rather, that it would behoove us to make sure that anyone who's listening knows how to make fundamental, simple cocktails. A lot of you are going to be like, I know how to make a martini and all that stuff, and I get it. But some people, like maybe my mom, might be like, that's fancy. And maybe it's just because they haven't been exposed to how to make basic cocktails. So for the next few episodes, we're going to focus on those of us who are at home, which is hopefully, as I said, mostly everybody, and how to use what you've got in your liquor cabinet already, so you're not going out. And yeah, we're going to start with the super basics. Today we're going to learn how to make a basic martini. Now, even saying that opens up a lot of potential for people to say like, oh, well, I wouldn't call that a basic martini. But this is what I'm calling a basic martini, which is essentially just your vodka and your vermouth. And, you can then get into the debate whether it's vodka or gin. And there's merit to both, but we're going to just start with a vodka martini today. And then as the weeks march on, we'll get into other things, such as gin martinis, dirty martinis, so on and so forth. But for right now, we're going to make a basic vodka martini with a lemon twist. Let's get our tool chest together. We're going to need a shaker full of ice. We're going to need the top to that shaker. And we will need a strainer and a martini glass. For ingredients, we will need the following: Tito's vodka and a white vermouth. In the tumbler full of ice, place 2 1/2 ounces of Tito's vodka and a 1/2 ounce of your vermouth. Place the top on the shaker and gently shake until the sides of the tumbler are cold, and then take the top off and strain into your martini glass and garnish with a lemon twist. Now, some people like them more shaken, bruised, so that the ice is kind of broken up in there. If that's what you like to do, go for it. There's no wrong answer here. You're just trying to make the martini that you like. Don't let anyone shame you into thinking that it needs to be a certain way, because it doesn't. It needs to be the way you like it. Now, the principles that we've learned here with this martini could apply also to a dirty martini, except you would sub the dirt, but we'll do that tomorrow. This is how you make a martini. I forgot to take a sip. Let's take a sip. A classic martini, a straightforward martini. Now you know how to make that. The next few videos will be changing around how we do that. We will pivot to a gin martini, a dry gin martini. It's all very simple, I know, but it's worth going through just to make sure you have the fundamentals that you can make drinks at home. This has been Happy Hour. It has been brought to you by Maine Spirits. Please drink deliciously and responsibly, and be super safe, and wash your hands. Wash your hands, people. Spencer Explores the Universe was brought to you by Maine Spirits. You can visit them online at mainspirits.com or download their app, or visit them on Instagram at Maine_spirits. The show is also brought to you by Bull Moose, serving Maine and New Hampshire's music, movie, video game, and book and trinket needs since 1782. Also brought to you by Sun Tiki Studios at 375 Forest Avenue or at suntikistudios.com. Spencer Explores the Universe is a Mistakes Were Made production.